could soon be changing the face of one of the area's largest employers.
And after it closed its doors for good, Babe's Grill and Bar shows off what's going on the auction block tomorrow morning after 30 years in business.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
First tonight, breaking news. The Dane County Sheriff's Department has launched an investigation into possible missing donations at the Henry Vilas Zoo. According to a report from Isthmus reporter Adam Schrager, county officials are worried money is missing from previous years that was collected in the donor tubes located in various locations around the zoo. Until this year, those tubes were managed by the Henry Vilas Zoological Society, which parted ways with the zoo this year. In any given previous year, between 2011 and 2016, anywhere from $40,000 to $88,000 were collected from those tubes every year. This year, they collected more than $190,000. However, in that Isthmus report, the Society's president contends the money has been accounted for in financial documents. Next tonight, the iconic round building on Kuna Mutual.
Kuna Mutual do this whole space, but there's this building behind me, which means your view from Mineral Point Road is about to look a little different.
Well, this building has been here since 1981. It served its purpose.
Kuna Mutual has gotten its fill of this shape.
Very often, this building sits idle in the afternoons particularly, and we want to better utilize that space.
Soon it will be out with the round and in with the square. More traditional on the outside, but what the company will put there, they hope is progressive. Not to bring in new employees necessarily, but for the ones already here.
This is a first step, and we really want to modernize our entire campus eventually to support that type of new working style that employees are looking for these days.
The flagpoles, you can probably say goodbye to those. With those down and parking moved underground, they're making room for green space.
It'll just create a much nicer area, and there'll be spaces for employees to work, for collaboration, and we think it'll be really nice when it's done, particularly in the warmer weather.
We've been in Madison since 1935.
Tonight they ran changes by their neighbors.
CUNA Mutual, and the World Council of Credit Unions have always been a big presence in the neighborhood. And just wanting to know what they're doing next.
Jeremiah and Nancy were here a lot in their lives. He retired from here 6 years ago after 30 years at the campus. They have an emotional attachment to what's here now, but they get change is coming.
I think it's just that's what's happening on this side of town right now.
CUNA Mutual hopes tonight they'll get on board.
This project is a testament to CUNA Mutual Group's commitment to the Madison and Dane County community.
And if all goes well with the city and CUNA Mutual's plans, they can plan on a new view in their neighborhood. The city will have to grant permission for CUNA Mutual to demolish this building and then a special permit to build up to 5 stories on their proposed building. That'll go before the Plan Commission in early January, and if that goes through, the company is planning to start demolition in the spring.
Amy Reed live on Mineral Point tonight. Amy, thank you.
An update now to a story we brought you only on News 3 Now last night. The Air Force confirming today in a letter to U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin there is an ongoing investigation into the medical discharge of Master Sergeant Jay Ellis. Ellis is alleging the National Guard is trying to discharge him for coming forward about sexual misconduct at the local base. That discharge won't be finalized until the investigation is complete. And the Madison Alcohol Licensing Review Committee has agreed to a proposal allowing Visions nightclub on the east side to remain in business after serving a 90-day suspension and revising its safety and security plans. Tonight, the committee approved the plan on a unanimous vote. Calls for Visions liquor license to be suspended for those 90 days starting January 1st. Visions has decided to remain closed for that time. The company must also develop a new dress code, replace surveillance cameras, create a written weapon screening policy, ejection policy, and security plan. This review stems from a series of fights and incidents inside and surrounding the nightclub in recent years.
The Dane County Medical Examiner has identified the man who was killed in a fatal rollover crash yesterday on the Beltline. He is 19-year-old Leroy Barnes Vergas Jr. He lived in Madison. The crash happened between Southtown Drive and Monona Drive. Additional testing is underway. A pair of bunkers, one of them filled with weapons and ammunition, was discovered along the river near a Milwaukee park today. This morning, deputies responded to a report of shots fired, leading to an arrest. Well, during the investigation, officers found the shelters near Estabrook Park, believed to be used by the suspect. Milwaukee Area Technical College owns the land. They say they didn't know the person living there, and the property is not used by students.
We are expected to get some rain tonight, maybe enough to get any leftover road salt off of our vehicles. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canopy, our first alert forecast now. Gary?
Already, the first batch of rain is starting to move into parts of southwestern Wisconsin. In fact, as we take a look at Doppler track there were even a couple of flashes of lightning as that band of showers moved into southwestern Wisconsin. Most of the lightning has stayed to the west into Iowa, but don't be surprised if there is a flash of lightning or a rumble of thunder because temperatures have started to rise. We've dropped to about 40 here in Madison, and now we're back up to 43. Temperatures in the mid-40s to our south and west. Those temperatures will continue to rise overnight. By morning, we'll be close to 50. And look for a high of about 52 around lunchtime with rain continuing through the morning, and it'll be windy, but those winds will shift around in the afternoon. Temperatures will fall to the lower 40s by late afternoon, and we'll look for a colder day on Friday with high temperatures in the mid-30s. Later, I'll take a look at a forecast that includes some weather that we have to watch as we head toward the Thanksgiving holiday.
Gary, thank you. House lawmakers heard from 3 more witnesses today. Second week now of public impeachment inquiry into President Trump. Tonight, lawmakers heard from State Department official David Hale and Laura Cooper. She testified Ukraine asked about the hold on military aid the same day as President Trump's phone call with that nation's leader. Earlier in the day, there was extensive testimony from U.S. Ambassador to the European Union, Gordon Sondland, saying there was, in fact, a quid pro quo.
Was there a quid pro quo? As I testified previously, with regard to the requested White House call and the White House meeting, the answer is yes.
After watching Sondland's testimony, President Trump repeatedly maintained he wanted nothing from Ukraine and declared the impeachment inquiry over.
The support for impeaching and removing President Trump from office appears to be decreasing in Wisconsin. Among those polled last week, the support for impeachment and removal is down a bit from 44% last month to 40%. 53% now say they don't support impeachment, up from 51% in October. Also something that's changed since October, hypothetical head-to-head matchups with Democrats. The president trailed all of the leading Democrats. In this poll, he leads all of them, including Joe Biden. The impeachment inquiry was one of several topics covered tonight in the Democratic debate in Atlanta. 10 candidates took the stage just 1 hour after today's testimony ended. There are 2 fewer Democrats in this debate compared to the last. Beto O'Rourke dropped out of the race at the beginning of November, and former Obama Housing Secretary Julian Castro failed to qualify. Vice President Mike Pence made a trip to Marinette today. He toured the Marinette Marine Shipyard and met with employees. Today's visit marks the second attempt by the vice president to visit Marinette this year. His previous trip that was scheduled for October 23rd was canceled last minute to attend a presidential speech.
Governor Tony Evers today vetoing a Republican bill that would have made it easier to become a nurse in Wisconsin. Currently, state law requires programs to be at least 120 hours long, but federal regulations call for a minimum of 75 hours. The bill would have changed state regulations to match those federal standards. The governor says he objects to less training for those who care for Wisconsin's more vulnerable citizens. Also, the governor today signing a bill to end a 5-county tax that was instituted way back in 1996 to pay for construction at Miller Park. About $600 million has been collected in the past 23 years to pay for construction and also interest costs at the stadium, which opened in 2001. That tax was previously projected to end in 2014. Under the new law the governor signed today, the tax must end on August 31st. After 31 years, Babe's Grill and Bar is getting ready to sell everything as they say goodbye to their restaurant.
Tonight, they opened their doors to let people preview what is being auctioned off tomorrow morning. Jamie Perez joins us now. And Jamie, what are they auctioning off?
They really have something for everyone there, from kitchen items to collectibles, jerseys, paintings, Wisconsin gear, you name it. Nothing is off limits there. And if you're interested, here's what you can expect.
So you're going to get down the business here, guys. We're going to be at 7 times a bid. $5, 7 half of them, 7 half of them, 10 would get 12 and half of them, 15 would get 17 would get $20, and 20 would get 2 and half of them, 25 of them, 7, now 32 would get 35 of them, 37 half of them, 40, now 2, and 40 would get 2 would get $42. So $40 here.
You're ready for tomorrow.
We're ready.
Paul McCartan will be doing that voice about 900 more times tomorrow as he auctions off everything at Babe's Grill and Bar.
It may turn into a competition.
It will be the last time the general manager will see everything here under one roof.
It all has, you know, a spot at Babe's, and it has at one point or another, whether it's something that's been hanging today or something that was hanging 31 years ago. You know, ultimately, it's a new chapter.
Dozens of people came to preview what they could get their hands on tomorrow.
Here's their POS system here.
From kitchen appliances.
Did you see these?
Pictures and jerseys.
A lot of it is, you know, from goes back into the 70s, 80s.
Antiques.
Cool.
Memorabilia.
That is super old.
Alcohol, signs, and wall decor.
Oh, they have a lot of chairs. Yeah.
Wisconsin gear.
Definitely our style.
There's something for everyone.
Wow.
I know.
And I got a chance earlier, I was digging through this box, and it's all the old pennants. Now, most of these came from the original Babes that was in town. But as you go through, you've got, you know, most of the Big Ten teams and some of the professional teams.
Things too tough to put a price on.
Really going to be driven by emotion.
And as much as it pains the management to see it all go, they just hope people can take a piece of Babes home with them tomorrow to give it a new life as they start a new life of their own.
Bittersweet moment, obviously, but it's the final chapter, and, you know, this is the part where we move on.
Bidding starts tomorrow at 10 a.m. You can show up in person or tune into a live feed online. They're predicting that it's going to take about 10 hours to get through everything, but they say that everything needs to be out of that building by this weekend. There's so much cool stuff there that I could not fit into that story, but there really is something for everybody.
Kind of sad to see Babes going after all these years, so popular. I said earlier, we did a story a few weeks ago about it, and I went there on my job interview to come here, 1997, 22 years ago. And
might still have some stuff.
they do have a lot of gear in there.
A lot of
Check it out
meetings
tomorrow.
have happened.
Yeah, a lot
Business
of
meetings, right?
We've had going away
Meetings,
parties
right?
there.
I know. There's so
So,
many memories there.
yep.
Jamie, thank you.
Sure.
Well, we do want to recap our breaking news off the top. We did have a technical issue off the top of the show. Breaking news tonight, the Dane County Sheriff's Department launching an investigation into possible missing donations at the Vilas Zoo. According to a report from Isthmus reporter Adam Schrager, county officials are worried money is missing from previous years that was collected in donor tubes located in various locations at the zoo. Until this year, those tubes were managed by the Vilas Zoological Society, which parted ways with the zoo this year. In any given year from 2011 to 2016, anywhere from $40,000 to $88,000 were collected from those tubes every year. This year, they collected more than $190,000. However, in that Isthmus report, the Society's president contends the money has been accounted for in financial documents.
Still to come, it is the trip of a lifetime for a local woman.
How Dane County and the Arc of Dane County helped give her a golden ticket to see the Golden Gate. That's next on News 3 Now at 10.
Welcome back. A local woman will depart on a trip of a lifetime next year thanks to the county and some advocates for people with disabilities. County Executive Joe Parisi and the Arc-Dane County surprised Angela Campbell today with 2 plane tickets to San Francisco. Angela has always wanted to see the Golden Gate Bridge and collects models and books about the bridge. Her friends and co-workers say the trip was a difficult secret to keep, but absolutely worth it.
I was definitely surprised. My eyes lit up like, I can't believe this happened.
They said they needed someone to go with her, and I said I could be happy to take her. And so what I'm really looking forward to is seeing the Golden Gate Bridge through her eyes.
County leaders first learned about Angela's love of the Golden Gate Bridge earlier this year when she won a self-advocacy award given to people with disabilities for outstanding leadership skills. She'll head to San Francisco for a long weekend in January.
Next at 10 overseas today, the Austrian government says it will be turning Adolf Hitler's birth home into a police station. That's to try and stop it from becoming a pilgrimage site for neo-Nazis. The building's future has been the source of debate in Austria for several years and was forcibly acquired by the Austrian government 2 years ago. Hitler was born and lived in one of the property's flats for the first few weeks of his life. Local police are not set to move into the building for some time. The Beloit Snappers minor league team is hopeful a new stadium will be enough to keep the team alive. Major League Baseball will eliminate more than 40 teams at the end of next season, targeting teams with poor facilities. The Snappers' new stadium is expected to open in the spring of 2021.
Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti joins us now, and we're looking out for some precipitation in the form of rain.
Yeah, we're already seeing it over parts of southwestern Wisconsin. In fact, there are probably a few of you that saw a flash of lightning or heard a rumble of thunder tonight. You can see a few of those lightning flashes made it into far southwestern Wisconsin over toward Grant County, and there still have been a couple of isolated thunderstorms back in Iowa. But for the most part, this is just rain. They'll be moving in, and the rain will continue to expand through the overnight hours as it heads toward the north and east. As far as precipitation amounts are concerned, the computer model is still indicating about a ½ inch to maybe close to an inch in a few spots over the next maybe 12 to 15 hours. Most of the rain should be over with by about noon tomorrow. Temperatures right now continue to climb. We've gone from around 40 earlier this evening to 43. It's 45 in Platteville and Mineral Point. Janesville also at 45. Mild southeasterly winds are starting to kick in. Those temperatures will rise overnight. So 3 things to know is in the forecast. It'll be rainy and windy overnight through tomorrow morning. Then tomorrow will start out mild with temperatures getting into the low 50s by lunchtime, but a cold front will swing through. That'll end the rain, but also bring in colder weather in the afternoon. And then look for quiet conditions on Friday. Sunny skies, high temperatures in the mid-30s, and that will lead to a nice weekend as well. Temperatures, again, after that high of 52 tomorrow around noontime will drop, and then we'll be back in the mid-30s for Friday, and temperatures should be in the lower 40s through the weekend. Then we see another drop in temperatures for the early part of next week. That will be a storm system that we have to watch. Now, the computer models are starting to change around a little bit on the timing and the strength of this storm system, so I've modified the alert days a little bit. There's a little more uncertainty here. Tuesday, it's possible now that instead of seeing rain, we might see snow. And if that happens, we almost certainly be looking at snow accumulations. The storm system could clear out of here then Tuesday night, and that would leave Wednesday dry and maybe lead to a chance of snow either late on Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving Day night. The other option is if the storm system is delayed a little bit, the snow would be on Wednesday. Again, accumulation would be possible. That storm system would be weaker and could lead, with the energy being left back, could lead to another storm system farther on beyond Thanksgiving. So right now, we still have snow in the forecast for Wednesday with high temperatures in the mid-30s and then falling temperatures. Thanksgiving right now, variably cloudy skies, highs around freezing, and then snow chances from Thursday night into Friday. Still remains to be seen how that will work itself out. Take a look at the Queen Bee Radio Skycam. The fog that we had this morning lifting, and then some sunshine in the afternoon before the skies clouded up again toward evening. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Rain hasn't reached us yet, but as we look at the almanac for today, our high temperature topped out at a mild 45 degrees. That's 3 degrees above average. That's the first time we've seen a high temperature above average since October 27th. The low at 37, and right now we're at 43 degrees. Winds are out of the south at 14 miles per hour. So our forecast calls for skies to be mostly cloudy overnight with occasional rain. Temperatures rising right through the 40s as those winds pick up out of the south and southeast. Tomorrow's high 52 around lunchtime with rain in the morning. The rain will end in the afternoon, but then temperatures will turn colder. And you can see that on Future Track. The rain coming in overnight through much of the morning tomorrow. Then as that cold front swings through, the winds shift around to the northwest. The temperatures drop through the 40s. And then as we clear out tomorrow night, we should be down in the mid-20s by early Friday morning. Even with sunshine on Friday, high temperatures only in the mid-30s. Again, rainfall amounts about a ½ inch to maybe an inch in a few spots. 7 to 10 day forecast. Quiet for the weekend into early next week, and then we have to watch out Tuesday and Wednesday. A little more uncertainty now in that forecast and even beyond the Thanksgiving holiday because of the fact of how the computer models are changing and whether or not there'll be 1 storm or 2 and the timing on those.
All right, Gary, thank you.
You're welcome.
State high school football championship games begin at Camp Randall tomorrow morning. We'll get a first-hand perspective from one of the Badgers next in sports.
News.
When the Milwaukee Bucks started their promising season with 2 wins and 2 losses, you thought, boy, are they that good? Well, since then, they've won 8 of 9 heading into tonight's game at Atlanta. The Hawks were playing with them in the 3rd quarter, but then the Bucks take over. Giannis gets around 3 defenders and dunks. He played only 29 minutes, but gets 33 points and 13 rebounds. But the big story tonight, Eric Bledsoe. He has 17 points in the 4th quarter alone. 28 in the game. Final score, Bucks 135, Hawks 127. The Bucks are now 11-3. Badger men's basketball team plays Green Bay at the Kohl Center tomorrow night. It's an 8 p.m. tip for the Badgers in Phoenix tomorrow night. Dawson Garcia, a 6'11", five-star recruit, a power forward from Prior Lake, Minnesota, announces today he'll play college basketball at Marquette. Garcia had Minnesota, Indiana, and Memphis in his Final Four, but goes to Marquette because he says it felt like family. When the Packers and 49ers play Sunday night in Santa Clara, it'll be a matchup of the two top seeds in the NFC. The 49ers, 3-point favorites, which is typically considered the advantage for playing at home. The Packers are 8-2. They have a half-game lead on the Vikings in the NFC North, and the Vikings are on their bye week this week. The Packers have had a great season under first-year head coach Matt LaFleur, but the funny thing is, they still might be able to play even better.
I don't think we've gotten to a point where all three phases have really put it together for 4 quarters. I think there's been glimpses, in each phase, but one area where we've done a really good job is winning the turnover battle, and that's going to be huge again this week. Certainly there's room for growth in all 3 phases.
Tomorrow, the 44th Annual WIA State Football Championships begin at Camp Randall Stadium. 7 division championship games Thursday and Friday. Back in 2015, a young Tyler Beatis and Garrett Groshek led Amherst to the Division V state championship. Beatis is now an All-American center for the Badgers. Groshek was Amherst's quarterback in 2015. Of course, now he's a running back for the Badgers, too. Beatis has some advice for the players in this week's state high school football finals.
Even if you are playing on, this is your last high school game with your high school teammates, your high school friends that you've grown up since kindergarten, and that was big for me. Even when me and Grosh were playing, so I mean it's a big game for a lot of kids, and definitely leave it all out there, and you don't want to leave any regrets. So just put it all out there and have fun. I think a lot of people think it's more like a job to do this, and it's but it's a privilege. It's what you earn to do. So really embrace the moment and have fun.
We'll have 3 local teams playing for state football titles at Camp Randall. Blackhawk Warren plays Edgar tomorrow morning at 10 in Division 7. On Friday, it's DeForest and Menasha in Division 3 at 10 a.m. Wanakee faces Brookfield East in Division 2 Friday at 1 p.m. And NASCAR driver Jimmy Johnson has announced he's going to retire after the 2020 season. Johnson has won 7 NASCAR driving championships, which ties him with Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt for the most in history. And at age 45, Jimmy Johnson will retire at the end of the 2020 season. We'll be right back.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gary. I was going to say we got football tomorrow at Camp Randall. I wonder if this rain's going to impact any of that.
Yeah, probably at least during the morning hours. Even a thunderstorm can't be ruled out this evening south and west of Madison. Its temperatures stay in the low to mid 40s and rise overnight.
All right, thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.